the lifestyles that we imagine, all those things have been sold to us. We've seen that picture in a movie.
Those dreams are not ours.
They're not ours.
Yep.
They've been marketed. You did media studies.
Yep.
They've been developed. They've been produced.
Propaganda.
Hey,
yeah, very true.
But what's interesting about that is that in America, and this was like 6 years ago, they said that on a daily basis, each person sees 3,000 ad impressions in a day.
Whoa.
Think about that.
Welcome and welcome.
Hello, girl.
Lamakhosi Kunene in the building. Hi, lady.
So much. So good to be here.
Lovely to have you. I'm super grateful.
It's an honor.
This is a big deal.
What a goddess. Only a goddess, a mother of all things, could be the platform for some growth like this.
Here we go. I love this vibe, this energy that you're giving me.
Oh, that's you. I'm just reflecting. That's what you do. You know.
Appreciate you, queen. Alrighty, so Mama, who are you? Whomst are you?
Yo, such a big question. I realized that this is gonna be, a conversation than an interview, because I have some questions.
Of course.
I have some questions.
Welcome.
And I was told that questions was heavy. Live. I mustn't hide the questions behind. Oh boy,
now I'm scared.
This is what I was told in the waiting room. So it's getting real. Well, I'm just curious about you, because it's actually one of my first times being interviewed on a podcast in SA.
Lucky me.
Yeah, lucky me, actually. So I'm just curious about what got you into the space. And
wowza.
Yeah. Sorry to start an interview with a question.
Off the rip.
But I am.
She don't play.
Well, I'm also a journalist, and I've also worked in television, and I've also been a TV host.
I can't wait to get into all of that.
We'll get there. But for now, I'm just curious, why podcasts and why this podcast?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I've always been interested in the journalistic field, haven't studied it, but at Howard College, I studied media management and then drama and linguistics. So I love all of that. Anything artistically, if you're artistically inclined, you are Swazi inclined. I love learning. I love hearing about people's experiences from all over the place and from local spots too, and just shining a light on things that are happening and things that matter to people who I feel like deserve the shine, who I feel that I can relate to, that I have something to learn from. And I feel that a lot of viewers and listeners would be super duper intrigued and would be it would be beneficial for them as well. I don't like to keep information here.
Yeah.
So we are sharing with the masses.
That's a beautiful thing. And it's a rare thing, because I feel like we live in a time where people are so concerned with shining that it's all about them, and they don't see or understand the value of creating platforms for other people.
Exactly.
I mean, people feel like, well, what am I getting out of it? You know what I mean?
1000%. And Kay knows now that I'm super duper camera shy, so I've always wanted to be the behind the scenes person. But I feel like I'm a vessel right now.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying it because I get to engage with wonderful people that I would probably never come across had I not decided, I'm going to use this platform that I've been, provided. So why not? Yeah. Why not shine a light on beautiful people and beautiful things, Jay, that matter, and just fun things as well, we need to enjoy life, guys. It's short.
It's short.
Right?
It's short. Life is short, and at the same time, life is long.
Right.
And I think what makes it long is our impact. You know, I think sometimes we don't realize how strong an impact we have on each other.
Exactly.
And even like a brief moment, or
a brief interaction.
Yeah. It's just like you build something that could last forever. There are people who I've met only once physically, but we've stayed in touch virtually for years.
Imagine that.
Like it's been
that
years.
is so
and we
true.
consider each other friends, and when we get to the point where we see each other, we'll be together.
Right.
You know? So I think that's also something that's really weird. So you're you're studying right now. You're in varsity.
Me?
Yeah.
No,
finished?
no studying. Call me a college dropout, if you will.
Oh,
yeah. I had one more year. Couldn't hold on. The world just seemed like it needed me.
Yeah. Well, we do. We do.
Boy, thank you. I was trying to be funny, but thank you.
Oh no, trust me, I'm a 3-time college dropout.
Hello.
Yeah, 3 different institutions. And I can say, to a certain degree, I know people, might find it wrong to promote, but I can just speak from my own experience.
Yes.
In saying that, I'm proudly a 3-time college dropout. I'm proud that 3 different times in 3 different institutions, I was able to understand that my journey is so uniquely mine that I can't give my learning over to an institution.
Right.
That I actually have a responsibility for the life that I want. And if I want the life that I want, then I gotta live it. And the life that I want is not in someone else's idea of what life is.
There we go.
And that's what makes life beautiful for me, is the uniqueness of the journey, the fact that we have an opportunity to literally, we have all these memes, all these quotes.
Oh yeah.
Live your own lives, live your life, do you, live your best life, and all this stuff. But I find that, just understanding that we're not the same. We talked about this, that your mom might be a teacher, but you're not a teacher.
Exactly.
And I was reading something earlier. Umfundisi ayizalwa umfundisi.
Oh yeah. Umfundisi akazalwa umfundisi.
Yeah. How did that even come up on the same day? But literally that asfan. We're not the same, and that's the thing that makes us beautiful.
Exactly. And also with the whole dropping out thing, it's not as you said, we're not promoting it, but when you say 3-time dropout, do you understand the courage it takes to leave this that is the thing that is known to be the way to do things and branch out and do it on your own? That takes some courage. It takes confidence in yourself, and you may not even know where you're going or where the journey is leading you. But you're like, at this pond, it's not for me. You step out and you're like, I'm going to dig until I find water here, and I will have a pond, to dip into, and then I'll invite people to come swim with me. And
also know that they can create their own ponds.
Exactly. And that for me, again, going back to the why of me having a pod, this platform was provided to me, the opportunity. They could have had anybody else, and they were like, Sway, give it a shot, so that's them, their pond, and this is me getting my feet wet, and now I'm fully in.
Amen.
And shout outs.
That's beautiful, and that's how we grow. Growing each other means growing ourselves.
Exactly.
There's no separation, and the fact that that's what I think I've come to learn in letting go of the idea that I need someone else to dictate what my life's purpose is opening myself to the guidance, because the guidance is always there. The guidance is always within every single one of us.
Yeah.
It's always taking us somewhere better than where we are.
Right.
The guidance never fails us, never lets us down, never disappoints us. If we give ourselves the opportunity to listen to our hearts, you know, part of the work that I do is African Wellness Wednesday, and you know, I'm so glad you had a chance to experience.
Oh, what a morning! What an afternoon! Oh, trust and believe, it's my new thing. Every Wednesday, you'll see the space.
Oh my God!
Oh, yoga.
Amazing. You know, and I never understood, because, like as I'm saying, these things have been institutionalized. They've been one. We as African people have always had a holistic way of living.
True.
Everything that we ever did was always naturally
from the earth. Our earth.
Connected to nature, connected to seasons, connected to animals. We never had a situation of overusing things, and you know, we had a connection to everything, and that was taken away systematically by a system that institutionalized its own ways of doing things, and in particular, its function is just to benefit a small minority of people.
It was never for us. It was never built for us.
It wasn't built for Africans. It wasn't built for the majority of humans on the planet. It was built just to benefit a select few. And that might be something that we take for granted now. We know it. It's like, okay, we know that. But what's important about that information is that it leaves a space where we have an opportunity to create new systems. We have an opportunity to create new ways of doing things.
Here we go.
We are way past the point of complaining, but if you understand the story of Jewish people and the Holocaust, and the millions of Jews who were murdered by Hitler, you'll understand the history of people who never let go of their identity. They never, ever, even to this day, their yearly rituals walk them through. There's a part
they really stand for what they stand for. They stand for it.
They live it.
They live it.
And generationally, they ensure that every generation remembers the hardships and the tribulations and the history and the suffering of their ancestors, you know. So that creates a very strong community in the now, you know. So I feel like if we can remember that that's who we are community, we are connected, you know, we need each other, we flourish through each other's growth, you know. And the more that we are able to celebrate each other, the more value we build for ourselves in our own world, in our own lives, literally, you know.
Very, very true.
We don't have to, you know, if we remember that sometimes it feels hopeless, like, wow, all this stuff happened a long time ago. It's already happened. We're here now. What can we do about it? Well, one thing that I've thought about after like years of activism work is the way that we think, the way that we dress, what we wish for, what we pray for, the houses that we picture, the cars that we want, the lifestyles that we imagine. All those things have been sold to us. We've seen that picture in a movie.
Those dreams are not ours.
They're not ours. they've been marketed. You did media studies.
Yeah.
They've been developed. They've been produced.
Propaganda.
Hey,
Yeah, very true.
But what's interesting about that is that in America, and this was like 6 years ago, they said that on a daily basis, each person sees 3,000 ad impressions in a day.
Whoa.
Think about that.
That's a lot.
3,000 in one day. You're going to see 3,000 logos, 3,000 ads every single day. What that means to me is that the system, so-called and actual system, is merely a marketing campaign that is operating across industries, across the board, in every aspect of life. If we accept that everything is an idea, then we'll accept that this is an idea, this table is an idea, the shirt that I'm wearing is an idea, your hat is an idea, everything is an idea, and these are other people's ideas. So our impact in the world, how many imprints we make in the world as Africans, is relative to how much we put ourselves as Africans into the world.
Right. Don't clip your wings. That's a lot. People are fearful, to express themselves and be themselves and learn who they are. Because the right thing to do is the logo. That's what's popping. So that's where we're going. Yeah.
Fit into the status quo. Fit into what's accepted. Why is it that in any given room full of South Africans, you can look around the room and there's nothing in the room that tells us that, one, we're in South Africa.
Yeah.
Nothing that tells us that we're even in Africa.
Representation.
Our clothes, our environment, our decor, everything. So that was sort of my inspiration around one of my companies, Africulture.
Yeah.
So Africulture is about Africa everywhere.
Lovely.
We want Africa everywhere. Africa everything, Africa everywhere.
Oh yes. I love that. I love that.
That's what we are. We are luxurious. We are opulent. We are artisanship. We are indigenous technology. We are the solutions of sustainability that the world had from the very beginning, that the world is still using today.
Exactly.
So Africa everywhere means indulging, spoiling ourselves with the beauty of who we are, spoiling ourselves with the brilliance of the colors that are just natural to our expression and our communication with ourselves.
Right. Now, I want to know, because this, you've said a lot, and it's all beautiful. But how did you come to this colorful place that you're in now? Tell me about where you grew up. Where are you from?
That's a great question, because this accent is terrible.
No, I'm totally with it.
I want it gone. I was born in South Africa. I was born to two South African parents who actually met in London when they were in exile.
Right.
And then my mom came back to have me. So I was born in Cape Town.
Okay.
Her family was had been established there, but well, yes, and also Msuthu.
Okay.
She was born in Rustenburg, so
my
father exactly. It's a lot. Between my mom's Xhosa Msuthu and then Baba Wama Mzulu. So I like to say I'm an African colored. Because, like, why colored? It's just like, wait, we all colored. Because I really don't know anybody who's just doing one thing one way. All of us, our families are mixed. All of us have, it's like, that's who we are. You know, and this idea that the differences that make us separate us, and then using words like tribalism as if it's so sick, you know, like, first of all, the fact that that's the description of who we are, tribes, okay? Baba Wam says, no, we're nations, you know, not tribes, we're nations. How now does that then become a bad thing? If we are tribal, how is tribalism bad? You understand? It's this constant process of shaming us, naming us and shaming us, labeling us. Ooh, it's constant.
Now, you mentioned your dad. How much of an influence has he had in your life? Never mind the work that you do, we'll get to that bit. But with regards to your upbringing, like how much influence did he have in you, like being raised as a kid, you know, and coming up, the experiences, the things that happened around you? Like, because I want to know how we got to this. You're like an oracle of just it's a wealth of knowledge and different views and opinions that aren't offensive to anybody, that you're super inclusive. That's like one thing, like from the wellness Wednesday that we had today, which was amazing. Once again, so much fun.
My body is just so happy right now.
I'm gonna go to bed. Ooh,
me too. I'm so relaxed.
So good, right? But yes, all of that, like from like the grassroots, you know. Tell me about that. How it came up. Did you grow up in Cape Town? Did you move someplace else perhaps? Stick around?
I wish I stuck around, then I'd have a better accent. But
stop it.
I was forced to leave when I was still a baby.
Oh boy,
and then we were in the UK
with both your parents.
With both my parents.
Nice, okay.
Where then my next brother was born. And then my father was exiled, and his work was to set up the new ANC, the first ANC offices in the UK and also in the US. So he was part of... Sorry.
Who's your daddy?
Baba wamu Mazisi Kunene, Baba Mazisi Kunene.
Big name.
Madonsela. Mumtimande.
Yes.
Hey, See, that's the thing. If you can't, then I don't feel as bad, because now I have to grow up like, why can't I do that?
Listen, your dad said we are nations, right? We are one right now.
We are. Yes. So, yes, beloved, Baba just created an Mama Tabo Kunene. The two of them just super beings who, when I say they're super beings, I say that because they're my super beings, they're my parents, they're my gods and goddess and my heroes and, you know, my mentors. But also, that is the story of every South African family. Every single one of us comes from the same story of incredible resilience, of
course.
Come on now, of incredible perseverance, of incredible contribution, not only to their own families, but to our communities. That's all we knew in the past, where my mom grew up at a time where everything was in your community because our communities were displaced and we were forcibly moved.
Yeah.
We were locked into spaces where we couldn't go to town for things.
Yeah.
Everything we needed was there in our own community. Had to be. So we were super self-reliant, super self-sufficient.
And that's what makes, I think, especially in the like black or ethnic community, that's why community is so important.
Absolutely.
Among those groups, you know?
Even now, you see, they have this particular study that they did where they say, how long does a money spent in a particular community stay in that community? You know, circulate in that community. So as you're saying, that culture of self-sufficient and depending on each other means that when I spend R1, I get R1 from work. I know I'm going to spend 50 cents buying chips from Go-Go. I'm going to spend another 25 cents buying amakeke for, you know, a wedding from the other auntie across the road. I'm going to spend another 25 cents getting my dress sewn by my aunt, you know. So exactly. Now that money gets to circulate and each of those people know that they're going to buy veg from their cousin there. And so in a lot of ways, the same thing happened in America where at the end of the desegregation, the forced sort of diversity to whatever degree also created a false sense of dependency on external systems to support us. And it killed local economy in a lot of ways. Exactly.
It's cheaper to bring things in.
Bring it in. It's closer. Why must you have to get dressed and take 3 taxis to town just to get anything, actually? There's everything that we need. Mlazi, Wamashu, Ananda, we have enough resources within our communities right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someone has to graduate. We already have the skills in our communities. We have the people who can teach us how to grow our own food. We have the people who can teach us how to make us something, anything, to have a skill to support ourselves and barter. Even it's not just about money, because when we make it about money, we're looking at the function of money. We're looking at, I need to get paid if I'm doing something.
Yeah, there's no selflessness in that.
And the broader value of money, wealth doesn't come from the function of an exchange of money. If you look at how many people are waking up every day who are going to a job to get paid, the function of money is happening. I'm doing a service, you pay me, so I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m., stand in long queues, be in a taxi, put my life at risk, get disrespected. Get disrespected, get to the job, get harassed, get further abused just to get this function, this exchange, which we say, this is the value of life. When I do something, I must get paid. But what we understand is that there's no wealth building. They know between home and there, I've already spent all that money. So they are happy for me to wake up and keep coming back.
So you're working just to get by. You're not working to build or expand. And they don't want you to.
No, they don't want you to. They don't want you to, and they don't need you to either. They need you.
It's a detriment to them, if that's the case.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because the day that we stop participating and we start redirecting our energies towards supporting each other and ourselves, in every community there's somebody who's a successful business person. In every community there's somebody who owns taxis. There's somebody who owns a bottle store. There's somebody who owns some kind of food thing. That actually having a conversation with those people as those are the institutions we can learn from. Those are the people who can teach us business in our context, in our particular communities.
And it's very important, especially bridging the gap between the older generations and the younger generations. Dave Chappelle once said something. He was like, someone once said to him, when an old person dies, it's the equivalent of a library burning down. That loss of knowledge. And these days with the youth, everybody is so desensitized nowadays. No one has the interest in finding out, no, it's just an old person. Oh, my dad, we have beberes that they don't have anything meaningful to say. Those are the people that we should be looking to. You know, your experiences, we are losing that, and it's initiatives like yours, you know, that is piecing together in the best way, because it's different avenues. It's not just one thing, you know. And that is the beauty of, I think, the foundation that you run and everything, you know. So now, before we get into speaking about the foundation and whatnot, let's talk about the accents, because we need to talk about this. From the UK.
From the UK. You're going to LA, guys. That time my mom was with us. My father went ahead to the States.
Coming to America.
Coming to America. My poor father. He had to get on a Greyhound bus, and he just went all over America. University to university, looking for himself. He already had graduated from UKZN. He had his master's in psychology and also linguistics, literature.
Lovely.
So he's your kind of person.
So he graduated though, so
Well, you know what? My father was somebody who really understood the importance of education outside the classroom as much as inside the classroom. And he was somebody who valued education from every single person. Anybody can be your teacher. Even a child can be your teacher. You know, he understood the value of the lessons that we have to learn from each other, irregardless of how much money you have, where you live. He was somebody who talked to everybody, who gave people time. So him being already qualified, he'd already been teaching at various universities here in Africa, and then had been doing this hard work of creating the blueprint for the struggle outside of South Africa, creating the anti-apartheid movement and being part of creating that outside of the country, letting people know where is South Africa, what is happening there, who are the people who are suffering there, things that we take for granted, but the rest of the world didn't know. There was a media block out and everything. So his work was just that, PR, letting everyone know what is happening, and he hated flying also. So he had a passport that was like full, stamped full, from countries all over the world, just going to meet with people, demanding that they get involved, sanctions, that their governments get involved against our government. So by the time he went to Los Angeles, he had done a lot of work. More than 20 years he had already been putting. So eventually, when he was in Los Angeles, that's where he got his teaching post, was in University of Stanford in California, and then at University of Los Angeles, where he was then tenured for like 15-20 years. He taught there. So
by then, were you staying with him now in LA?
Yeah, we all moved there as soon as he got the job. We all moved to LA as a family, and we grew up there.
That American accent just got hella hectic as soon as he started talking about LA. I'm kidding. Go on.
It's there. No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. It's there.
No, go on.
But yeah, that's where we grew up. So from the time I was, as long as I can remember, we were living in Los Angeles, more or less we had 2 houses, 1 house when I was very small, but then we moved when I was still about 5. So I grew up in 1 house really until I was 18. And in a beautiful community of African Americans.
Oh, wow.
It was just a very warm place to grow up. African Americans have a really strong sense of connection to each other. And wherever you are, if you just see another black person, there's that thing.
There's that nod that you give each other, like, I see you.
People.
Do you think that maybe it's the yearning, that they have for knowing about their roots and the disconnect that they have? It's like they want to have it.
I think it's the yearning, but I think they have a how can I say, a more brutal and conditioned understanding and experience of what the war that has been waged against them,
because they're hectic,
and that is still being waged against them.
So now, even with you and your family living in the States and now being exposed to all the struggles that African Americans had to experience, coming from your own country, SA, South Africa, where you like, guys, you think you had it bad, you don't know what's going on back home, but then nakhona ufix a year chains, cotton,
police killing people on a daily basis, police brutality.
We are people, guys. We are one. Which is why uplifting each other and going up together, growing together is super duper important, especially in communities of color. I find
very, my angel. It's the only way. And what's beautiful about growing up in both cultures at the same time, because though we were in Los Angeles, in our home, it was being in South Africa. You understand? My parents were very strict and very cultural and very clear that we must know that, no, we're not Americans, we're Africans, and even being called an American is not a nice thing. Like, to the degree that say, oh, so you think you're American? That's when you know you
think you're American. Nah, girl.
Bad things are coming, So it was that thing of pride and understanding, wow, look at the magnificence of our culture. Look at the magnificence of how we think and what we create and who we are.
Lovely. And I'm sure now looking back, he's super duper grateful that is how it was in the household. So we were in South Africa. I'm a now I'm in America.
Exactly. And I think we've lost that as South Africans, because I thought that everybody's family, I thought that's how people were in South Africa. Little did I know that my parents were actually like super strict, like, whereas here people just like, this is a free for all. I'm like, I didn't even know you were allowed to have a boyfriend. Yeah, well, it depends, of course, exactly. Yeah. But it's that thing of like, I grew up in a household where, boyfriend wasn't even a conversation. I don't even know where boyfriend comes into things. It's like, you're just like a child and then you're married. Yep.
What
is that? It doesn't exist,
Yeah, we don't do that.
No. So there are a lot of things that I believe we've internalized, one through exposure to television and
adopting those,
other values. That calling them even values is the wrong word.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But ways of being that are not productive or healthy or cultural, and it becomes normalized that this sort of standard of, okay, we're going to do things our way, screw the past, screw all that, this is the future, we do things our way now.
Get with this program.
Get with this program. But the thing is, this program is not actually, people don't have equity or ownership in it. The program that they're following is just someone else's program. They're saying, screw you, Badala, screw you, Africa, screw you, everything that is us. But the thing that they're following belongs to someone else. And they have their own mission in mind. At the end of your subscription to their service, it's going to disservice you. Like, it's going to ensure, it's built for that, you know. So, unfortunately, in our rejection of who we are, of what we have, in our shame about where we come from and how we grew up, we end up being in the back instead of in the front. Instead of having a space where we're leading from our own pride and our power, we're in a place where we're trying to look like, where we're trying to appear, where we're trying to be, where we're trying to have the degree so that we can try to have the life, so that we can try to have the car, so that we can try to impress, so that we can try. And all of that is unnecessary, because at the end of the day, our value is in our values, and our values is where we have to ultimately come back to. You can reject the past, but what are you building the future with?
And we do it to ourselves. We should, our hair, it's too frizzy. This is what's supposed to look like. The clothes we wear, they're not good unless they're from there, you know? And everything that is ours, even down to our language. Like South Africa, you are up here, depending on how well your English is, how articulate you are, how well spoken you are. Kini is Zulu yasazi, is Xhosa yasazi, yabuwa wena kini ke, you know? How much of you and where you come from, do you have as much pride in that, or do you just want to be in somebody else's building, in somebody else's office? You know, we need to unlearn a lot of those things, I believe.
Exactly. I mean, my dream is that one day, so having grown up in Los Angeles with parents who spoke to me growing up in Zulu and in Xhosa, but I was responding in English.
Yeah.
So my brain is just like,
yeah.
So it confuses people because I can understand them, and then I'm responding in English. They're like,
why don't you speak?
But you can. And I'm like, So, but the longer that, you know, in certain situations, you do adjust, the brain knows now is not the time for English.
Yeah.
There are many times that are not the time for English. And I get surprised that even my friends, when people will be accommodating me at times, and I'll be like, we're in a taxi, they're like busy talking English. I'm like,
No, not the time, guys.
That's literally all I want to do. I'm like, how do I, in a very subtle way, go,
Wait, I got this.
Just don't do this. And then like that, then I understand. What's the problem? I'm like, nah, guys, no.
Shut it
It's
down.
not the time for English. We don't all want to hear English, and that's what I love about KwaZulu. That's what I love about SA, and I love that part of what we've held on to, who we are. That we understand there is still a separation. There's a difference between who we are and who we're not.
Yeah.
And we can accommodate, we can learn different things, we can explore other cultures, but they don't own us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
that's right.
it's like we still are, and we're great without those things. In fact, another thing I love is like most parties, you know, gatherings.
Yeah.
You don't even hear American music. You don't even hear. You hear. We have so much South African music. Every genre. Amazing music. We make hits like we wake up. It's something we do every day. It's just nothing to us. Come on. Singing, singers. You can go to any school, go to any morning assembly. You're going to find all the Beyoncés you want there. The problem that Africa has is too much greatness. That's our biggest problem. Too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. And our only challenge and our only work into the future is to value what we see in front of us. Value what you see in the mirror. Value who you see in the mirror. Value who you see across the table from you. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to be valued.
100%.
Yeah. It means a lot, and it's a beautiful platform, and I know we still have many conversations that we're going to have.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about LA and growing up there.
We want to know about this foundation.
The foundation.
You're back in SA at some point.
Ooh,
right?
yes. LA, yeah, because I still want to come back and talk about creative business and the whole, my career in the creative business and in the arts, in television, in music, and chilling in the studio with Jay-Z and interviewing Beyonce and all those things. That's a conversation that we still have to have, but from my time in LA, we grew up as activists. We grew up involved in community. Our home was always open to everybody. So we never had our rooms to ourselves. We were always sharing rooms. Yeah, our family kitchen table was a bench, like a park bench, and a picnic table because we need to accommodate many people and more are going to come.
Community within the household.
Oh, it was a precinct.
We're going to need a part 2. What do you say?
Yeah, we are going to need a part 2. Trust me. Yeah, I'm also. I'll come with wine next time, as promised. I will. But from that time growing up, and a lot of challenges during that time, supporting young people who were fleeing the atrocities that were happening here in South Africa, and building a community of activists in LA who supported the work, young people who grew up in LA and fighting for South Africa. And since this is a podcast, I think that would also be a great one to have at some point where we dial in with our community of activists outside of South Africa who really dedicated themselves to this liberation work and this freedom work. Exactly. And to hear from them and to also give them a space to maybe inspire us and remind us about what we were fighting for as well, you know. But yeah, got arrested, did sit-ins, and protested. My brother said we learned to protest before we learned how to walk.
Wow.
We grew up with placards in our hands. Whoa, shame we didn't have a chance. By the time I was 12, I was part of organizing my first youth conferences, first press conferences by the time I was 12, 13. So we've been doing this work a long time. And so that led me to television, actually. Not because I didn't have an agent, I didn't have a headshot, I wasn't auditioning, but because I was active in community.
Doing the work, putting in the work.
People saw and people heard and people came to me with opportunities to do more work.
Tell me a bit about that, about the work with regards to television or just entertainment in that field over in the States.
Well, growing up in LA, of course, it's like
the hub.
Entertainment capital.
Yeah.
So one of the things you learn when you grow up in LA is that LA, you know, there's the LA that's on TV, and then there's the real LA of people who you see every day in the supermarket, you know, at school, at church. You know, it's just real normal people, everyday people living their lives. And what's nice about LA is how diverse it is. Although the communities are sort of African American community, blah, blah, you have those that are really mixed in between, you know, blended. But despite the fact that you will come from a predominantly African American community, the schools, the public schools, force so much diversity. So they bus kids in from all over, so you end up having, it's the most diverse place to go to school, you know. So you grow up learning some Spanish, you have friends who are from Samoan, who are from Thailand, Vietnamese, Japanese, Mexican.
And now that you just touched on the education bit, I'm sure you know about what people say, or what stats say even. The education system in the States compared to any place else that you've studied. Okay, let's just speak about your system, the education in America.
Well, they say America has a very mediocre education system, and
that's the word on the curb.
It's very mediocre. But I mean, it's scary because it sort of set the template for, and it's based on a template that's used all over the world. You know, I couldn't focus at UKZN because, like, I just felt like I was in a time capsule. I was like in the past, literally, and the physical environment was the past. Those long, depressing hallways and those walls and those high ceilings echoing, and it's like echoes of the past, literally. Like, it's just not inspiring. And although I'm sure different things have changed, but at that time that was my experience. So in terms of education, I felt like, oh no, like this thing is just like across the board, even across countries, where
it's stifling you.
It's like every child. I had a friend who graduated from UKZ in civil engineering. He took 8 years to complete that degree. I'm saying from the time that you start grade 2, you can be learning civil engineering all the way up until you graduate. In 18 years, you will have all the information that you need. 13 years, you will be a PhD by the time you graduate. Why are we wasting children's time? They can be learning from primary school, college level, education or curriculum.
You reckon that we have the capacity, like as human beings?
It's just a matter of how much you teach at a time. A child is ready to learn anything.
A child's mind is a sponge.
It's where they can learn any language. Now, if you think math is a language, programming is a language, computers, IT, it's a language. So children are adept at learning many different languages at once. You know, so the limitation is us. We're putting the limitation on them. You know, allowing children to lead in terms of what inspires them, what is their calling.
Right.
That's the part where Western education is particularly created to support the industrialized West. Their systems of purposing human beings for to make money.
Ungasho ukuthi the way that the systems are set up, you are taught what you need to know, and whatever you don't need to know is a non-factor.
Big time.
Because I say this because I watched this interview. It's an old interview. I don't even remember if it was David Letterman or one of these guys got that back in the day. Yeah, because and they were like that particular host was interviewing a British band. It wasn't the Beatles, but it was one of those guys from the UK, right? And there were three of them on the couch, and then the host poses the question: do you know of a continent called Africa, or do you know of a continent called I can't quite remember the continent he spoke about, and the guys were like, yeah, we are aware of the different continents that are in the world. We studied in the UK, which was a slight, a jab at, okay, so, because Americans know America.
They don't even know.
Africa is Africa. There are no countries la.
In America, Americans don't know America. In America,
See this.
Americans don't even know that.
And not to like down them, but it's unfortunate.
It's the education
and
system.
Tina, the way our systems are set up, we are taught about izinto zomhlaba, like yabo. And I just do you think you like, do you have an idea as to why that is? Is it because we are supposed to be super duper intellectual or knowledgeable about everything because of the different places that we want to see ourselves, or we want to travel and we want to be able to adapt and live there, whereas in those environments and in those spaces they don't learn to go out.
Very true. That's such a great observation and an insight, and I think it's relatively true. We always see that we have to be the ones to change.
Yeah.
We have to be the ones to expand.
Because they are the bar.
We have to be the ones to learn English, speak English. In other countries, their world leaders speak their language. They know English, but they don't speak English.
Yeah.
When they're addressing their nation, they speak their own language.
Yeah.
We have 11 official languages in South Africa. Why would our presidents have to speak outside of their home language?
Yeah.
Why, when we can have everything translated for us? So in terms of education, I think that there are a lot of parallels in terms of education being a system that's been created to support other systems which exist to oppress, marginalize, and sort of, I don't even know what, just eradicate other people, other cultures, So I think the whole world is at a place now where we are embracing the change that we can make.
Yeah.
The foundation, as you mentioned, Zamaswazi Kunene Foundation, has been working in the South Coast.
Yes, talk to me about it. Tell me all about it.
Transformation things.
Yeah, and all the initiatives under that big umbrella that is the Zamaswazi Kunene Foundation. Please let the people know.
Well, I can just say that the work started, as I mentioned, a long time ago. And my mom likes to say that the foundation is a promise kept. It's the work that we started and continuing that work today, as it hasn't ended. I think a lot of the disconnect between the past and the present involves those who have suffered in the past being only not really having a clear understanding of the suffering that's happening in the present.
Yeah.
And then you have that thing of like a competition.
Like I had it worse.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
well, it's bad right now. What are you talking about? So the foundation works to really not wait for external answers, but encourages us all to take the power, to use the power that we are born with to make the changes that we all want to see. You know?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? It's in our hands. So we saw a school in the South Coast. It was a failing school. 33% pass rate.
Whoa.
My mom likes to say 70% fail rate.
Something my mom would say.
Yeah, exactly. And then my mom and my brothers, being that they were here to carry the baton, to keep that promise, they started volunteering every day after school, asking the kids, so what did you study? How was it? Can I help you with your math, your English? They aren't educators, they aren't academics in that way, but they just started helping where they could. And that's the space that is the healing space for us when we talk about nation building. Is literally, it happens when everybody just helps where they can. You know, then they saw how this pass rate is going up.
Hey.
It went up like 35, 37, 40, 42. Then my mom just started saying, no, now we need more tutors. We need more people to come and be part of the after school program. So they started recruiting kids who had graduated, but they were home, they weren't in varsity. Unemployed.
Story of our lives. Well, not the dropouts, but you know.
The dropouts understand that employment is not something that's given to you.
Yeah.
Employment is something that you employ your time. What are you doing with your time?
Yeah.
That is employment, you know. So it's a beautiful thing to understand that all these young people have so much to offer and can make a difference right now. They don't even need a degree. They don't to start making a difference. So they came and they started helping, tutoring. We started getting some small funding. We were able to pay them. We were able to build a library there.
Wow.
Beautiful library, brightly lit, skylight, yellow chairs.
Hey.
A happy place, you know. And then we built a computer lab, computer center there with 30 computers.
Wow.
We had instruction for those computers. All this is zero government involvement or funding. This is purely funded by the family with a partnership, various partnerships.
Are these local, like national, or is it
the partners
help from
local,
outside? Local. Awesome. Awesome stuff.
Best Freight was a great partner.
Being a bookworm myself, that means the world to me.
Yeah.
Making the library a happy place. That means so much to me.
They tried to give us a shipping container initially.
Oh yeah, because nowadays people are doing really fancy things with them.
Exactly.
But back then,
it's like no. And also my mom just believed, why us? You know, why can't we have a beautiful library? Why must we be okay just with the shipping container? You know, why do we have to settle all the time?
Not even bare minimum.
Below par. And then we're supposed to be excited about it. So
Yeah, hey?
this school is a place to get excited.
Wow.
When you're there, there's a science lab there now.
So dope.
Oh my gosh, it has anything from the skeleton to
Aww.
those body parts, the organs are there. There's a lab coat. There's microscopes at each station. There's stations for the gas. There's a projector. It's like a fully functional.
And with all of these developments, the pass rates must be rising.
50, 60, 70, 80, 90. We've got distinctions every year.
Wow.
We've got graduates from UKZN,
Yes.
from Stellenbosch. We've got chemical engineers who came through that program at Emasonga and were able to compete in the university setting and rise to the top of their class.
Wow.
Coming from this background, competing with kids who had gone to the best private schools. So the big picture village, a big picture vision ultimately is a swimming pool, tennis court, various school facilities, and just ensuring that it's a place that has everything that can benefit and prosper and inspire.
That's so
the young black
amazing.
mind.
We need more of this.
Yeah, boy.
I love it. I really do.
Yeah.
Wow. And now, just to touch on, so this morning had that lovely session that we spoke about, Wellness Wednesdays.
Yeah, bro.
So in the morning we went, had a lovely yoga session, after which we had a little downtime to get to know every individual, you know, that had joined us. And wow, like I said, I'll definitely be back. But there, I didn't get a chance to go into the actual museum. So just give us a little walkthrough of the kind of space and the experience that one gets from going in and walking through, and the things we'll see and learn from being in that space and environment.
It's definitely a once in a lifetime, one of a kind experience. I love that you said give us a walk through, and what for me that space and what other people also express. It's about a feeling that you get when you're in it, and I think that connects us with everything that we believe as Africans, and connection and spirits and Lamakhosi and Msamo and our homes. That is actually the home. So it's a space where we've decided it's a safe haven for over 10,000 manuscripts that Baba Kunene wrote in Zulu by hand. They say that the Timbuktu scrolls have maybe 6,000 more scrolls than us. But you know, we're there in the thousands of different works from...
That's a sanctuary.
Oh, it's an institution by itself. And it literally is sitting there for us. It belongs to us. Every single one of us has an opportunity to explore that space. There are manuscripts there. We're working on digitizing them now. We have a library there that was donated by Baba's ex-former students.
Yeah, oh wow. That's wild. That's really, really cool.
Oh my gosh, the students from UCLA.
Okay.
They've come to South Africa on more than 4 occasions. They come, they do volunteer work, they travel, they meet people, they connect. So they decided that they were going to grant us a library.
Wow.
So that library has book titles by African authors from throughout the diaspora.
Wow.
Books that are written by African authors or about Africa or about Africans. So it's a treasure trove by itself. If there was nothing else, I don't think there's another library of African library that I know of.
I imagine that a lot of these books and these manuscripts that you spoke of, that Rubaba wrote, are one-of-ones, most likely. So now, because I will be going to the museum and getting this experience, while I'm journeying through it, do I have like access to them? Like, can I touch them? Can I read them? Or is it like we shouldn't damage these?
They're very delicate, although they're displayed in such a way that you are able to actually see them and see how Baba created a system where he would write on one side of the page and leave space for edits and all of that.
Oh, cool, man.
And then as he got closer to the finished work,
this is a forward thing.
Then, it was like solution.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, one of the manuscripts, he took it and then he photocopied it when he's like almost at the final draft.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's very big and he uses a magnifying glass, and you can see. So you will definitely walk away with the feeling that there's much more to go back and learn.
Yeah,
and
you don't just visit that space once. You can't.
No,
you will
cannot.
not gauge the entire vibe. You will be overwhelmed.
Just one room alone is a whole exhibition. For now, like the writing room speaks about the work
Oh yeah.
One of Baba's seminal works or flagship works, the story of Emperor Shaka the Great.
Okay.
And that room alone, as you can imagine, is like,
I think that's where I'll start.
I can't wait.
Okay, so tell us now, when are you open every day? Like when are people able to come in and access all of this wealth,
this
knowledge?
Wow. Come experience the wealth. Come share your wealth. Because that's really what it's about. The space exists in a way that it's a platform for others. We're hosting rehearsals there for artists.
I saw people rehearsing there as well with scripts and everything. That's awesome.
We're creating a system where it's easier for more artists to come and join us. We are, we're just really looking to make the place a home for creativity and creative businesses in Durban.
And just networking, because that's one thing
Big
I picked
time.
up just from being there on one occasion. I got to link up with a lot of people that I hope that I'll be bringing on to this platform, just so they can share their experiences and their journeys and their knowledge as well.
I love that.
So when are you guys open?
We're open, so we're going into the festive time now, but we are open generally from 8:30 until 4:30 during the week. But again, best place to find us is on Facebook.
Nice.
Zamaswazi Kunene Museum and Zamaswazi Kunene Foundation.
Yeah.
You can send us messages there and we'll be able to just update you on what's currently happening.
Yeah.
But the museum hosts everything from comedy shows to DJ sets to screenings, theater, a dance, and as you know,
so I could come there every day and experience something different every single day.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're looking for more and more partnerships.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm getting involved. I don't know. I don't know about UK, but I'm in it.
We need you guys.
Oh yes.
We need you.
What
and
a joy, man.
Come record a podcast there once a month at the museum.
Hey, how about it?
Beautiful background. We have a whole library set up. We can do authors or anything.
Awesome.
I'm seeing like this other beautiful room, the Japanese room where.
Look at us now, making plans.
I'm telling you, it's recorded. It's done. It's recorded in history. Yeah, no, it's an honor to be a part of this and to be given the opportunity to share, and also, as you said, networking. We'd love to open up our network and really facilitate sort of opening up those people and giving you guys access to even more people through us for this work, because it's really important and it's inspiring, and we need to hear young voices. We need to hear the voices of dropouts. We need to know what are dropouts doing, because it's the dropouts who can't just fall back on what they studied. You know, you are actually, you represent more people. The majority of us don't have degrees. So what is the plan for us? And to know that not having a degree is not an excuse not to have a life, but not having a degree is actually a reason and a gateway to actually defining your own life and creating new institutions. We still need to learn.
Yep.
We still need to teach, but it means making your learning and your teaching and your education your life's work. You know.
I just want to express gratitude for all the work that you have done and your family has done, and all the work that you continue to do. Siyabonga. Guys, and ngiyabonga ukuthi ufikile la namhlanje. Ngibonge nje futhi ukuthi sazofika, because now this is me asking you. Anything else you have going on, Jay, please, this is the place that I would like you to use me, use us, because we are here to use each other to build, and grow and reach the masses. Sonje, yes, bonge.
And yeah, what more can we say is amazing.
Too many more.
I can't wait. Next time we're gonna be freestyling. Yeah, we're gonna really expose people and expose ourselves, expose each other, and really give people a chance to be surprised.
All right. Lamakhosi, this is a blessing. I think that now we've really gone through it, hey? And there's more. So here's to a beautiful conversation, a beautiful episode.
Yes, thank you.
Guys,
I loved it.
Let's stay tuned for more to come.
More to come.
And I guess that's it for
Check
today.
us out on Facebook.
Yeah, then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Enjoy.